Okay, so we are going to get going in just a minute, and we're going to start um, talking about this very important topic that is affecting so many Montessori schools today, which is, needing to really understand what tools are the best, are the most effective tools for growing your enrollment. And before I get going, I'd just like to see if just to make sure that everybody here can hear me. Um, so in the chat box on the right side, if you can go ahead and just type in your name, let me know that you're here and that you can hear me, and then that'll just give me what I need to kind of kick this off and make sure that I'm all systems are a go and I'm not talking to the thin air. But yeah, so tell us your name. Go to the chat box on the right side. Tell us your name, and so let us know where you're from, and we love to see who's joining us from around the world. We've got Nina. So Nina, where are you joining us from today? Nina is in Seattle, Washington. That's great. I was just in Seattle in August. It was beautiful weather there. We have a bunch of customers over that way, and luckily I've got some family there too. Okay, and is anybody else joining us? If you could, as you as you join this webinar in the chat box, please go ahead, tell us your name and where you're from and where you're joining us. It's always really cool to see where everybody is, where everybody is, tuning in from. We've got Nina in Seattle. Seattle, who has gorgeous summers. And who else here? So as you join in, we'll give everybody a few minutes just to get in and get settled. Take a look for the chat box on the right side of the screen. Go in there and just let us know you can hear us and that you let us know where you're joining us from today. We've got D. Scott from Lancaster. Lancaster and Lancaster where? Is this Lancaster, UK? Is this California? Lancaster, California. Okay, so we got two folks so far from the West Coast. All right, so so that's great. So it's a nice morning for you guys, afternoon for us here on the East Coast, and so we'll get this webinar kicked off as other people join us. We might stop for questions or whatnot, but without further ado, we can move into this very important presentation. So, I'm not sure exactly why you're joining us today, but so I just need to get my technical system working properly. Bear with me one moment. There we go. All right, but if you could take a look at this picture on the right side, see if you can relate to, this tableau, if you will. Sticky notes, piles of money, binders, calendars. All the while there's this computer there, that can actually manage a whole bunch of tasks. And this is really the place that Hubbly starts from. Like we are a, in general, Hubbly is a parent engagement system that helps Montessori schools move from the sort of the old school approach to communication and systems and tools, and brings you into the the here and now to help you meet parent expectations on communication as they are today, and also help drastically reduce the workload, and the hassle that goes into managing the various communication, systems and tools that we see being used across the market. And I just want to apologize. I have a bit of a cold, so I'm going to be sort of coughing and sniffling, and I hope it doesn't get too much into the way of the content. But you are in the right place here today. If you wish that relying on word of mouth referrals was enough to keep your school full with a healthy waiting list as well, but you know that it's not. You know that for most schools today, word of mouth referrals just doesn't unfortunately fill up the school anymore. And you want to fill your school to capacity, and ideally have that waiting list that is always filling up too and staying at a minimum length. And and you'd like to spend more time on higher value tasks like face-to-face conversations with parents and children. And I just want to I want to suggest, actually not suggest, I want to strongly encourage you to stay for this full webinar, the full 60 minutes of this presentation, because we are going to review a variety of solutions to the most common challenges of enrollment marketing. And I'm going to be telling you about a very exciting new pilot program that we're launching here at Hubley. And and there's going to be also a really great bonus at the end, where we're going to offer some freebies, some really helpful content that's going to relate to what we're talking about today. So, I mean, this webinar, it's got very actionable, helpful information. You'll be able to take it and go do something with it today. So, and at the end, we're going to even give you some helpful templates that are going to give you a head start. So I just want to start off by doing a poll. And then I'd like to hear from everybody in the webinar today. What are you currently doing at your school to grow enrollment? So feel free to type in the chat box on the right side, what strategies are you using? What marketing channels? What tools are you using, if any? Let's hear from you guys. What's going on at your school for enrollment marketing strategies? So Nina, you're saying mainly Facebook. Okay. And is that Facebook, like Facebook social media posting, or are you doing Facebook ads? So D is saying use Facebook and events. So I'm really interested to hear what how you're using Facebook. I'm wondering, are you running ads on Facebook, or are you posting Facebook mom groups? Oh, interesting. So that's a very smart strategic move. Very, very smart. Boosting posts. So that is paying for ads. Okay, great. Okay, so we're getting some. So you guys are definitely definitely in the right place here. We're going to be talking about how we're going to be focusing today on how to use Facebook ads, very, very specifically. So let's just take a look at some important market trends in the private school sector in the US. The market size has been growing while enrollment rates are declining on a per school basis. So what does that mean? Basically, the market's growing, and that's only going to increase. But enrollment on a per school level is getting harder and harder to maintain because of a more competitive environment. So the bottom line is, and I don't want to come off as rude or cynical, but if Montessori schools can approach running their schools a little more like the rest of the business world, and I'm only referring to communication side of things with prospective parents, meaning marketing and customer service, etc. Like what that really means is parent engagement. The impact will be really positive. So what I mean to say is fixing this problem is really easy. It just takes having a clear path and a bit of a framework. Most Montessori schools today want to increase their enrollment numbers, or at least want to increase the number of inquiries of families that are actually looking for a school like yours, rather than parents who are just looking for any place to stick their children. And you all know that parents that are more in line with the values of the Montessori method are more likely to stay than the ones that aren't. Because the ones that are not necessarily in line are more likely to leave in a year. And when they do that, oftentimes they take a few families with them when they go. And the best way to feel confident in directing the wrong families to look for maybe a different school is to make sure that you've got enough inquiries so that you don't feel your back is up against the wall. And if you want to make sure your ads are drawing in the right parents, then you need to make sure you are speaking to them directly. Your first step should be to identify parents that are currently enrolled, the ones that you would choose to clone if you could. And then you want to engage them and survey them, and you want to understand in their language what value do they see from your school. Then you want to literally take that language verbatim, and you want to use that in your ads and on your website and on your landing pages. In fact, you should actually take that language and update every bit of marketing material that you have. This is marketing 101, so to speak. Right? Because much like the Montessori method is about following the child, the best Montessori marketing method is about following the parents. And what I mean to say is your website and your ads should not be trying to sell Montessori. It should be trying to express the value that the right parents want to connect with, and show that you have something that they want to see. And at this stage, when we're talking about ads, it's about getting them into that inquiry process or into your enrollment process, coming into the school for a tour. And one of the best things about using digital tools for advertising is how much actionable information they give you about the campaigns. Thankfully, the folks, that seems like everybody here is pretty aware of how important Facebook is and, digital marketing. Unlike print ads, that can't track anything, tools like Facebook, they tell you exactly how much value you are getting for every dollar you spend. The problem is knowing how to use the tracking tools and understanding what specific metrics are important to track. And that takes a lot of time and experience. When I talk to school leaders that are trying out Facebook ads, I I always ask them how much they're spending per inquiry, and they never seem to actually know. I often hear, we get this many clicks, or we got this many views. The problem is that clicks and views, those are not the result that you're looking for, and those are not the result that you're paying for. It happens to be, you know, you need clicks and views to get to the result, but if you don't know, the actual success metrics around the inquiries, uh, that's a problem because that's the actual metric that tells you the success of your campaign. And knowing how much you're spending per inquiry, that informs you for the future, right? Because if you know it costs you $10 to generate an inquiry, then you can do some budgeting. And as a rule of thumb, you should always have 4 times the amount of inquiries in relation to how many enrollment positions you need to fill. So just to do some basic math, if you've got, 10 spots you need to fill, and it's $10 per inquiry, then you need to budget $400 to achieve those inquiries. If you need 10, right, and that's what you want. You want to be able to know exactly how much it costs you to get inquiries in the door, and then you want to add a multiple to that of 4, times it by your cost per inquiry, and then you know exactly how much you need to put into the budget to get the exact result that you need. I just want to talk about the website a little bit. When set up properly, your school's website should be getting found by prospective families. And it should be increasing the number of inquiries of families that are an ideal fit for your school. And then, of course, driving them into your enrollment process. Another way to think about your school's website, you can think of it like a billboard. I often give this analogy when helping people understand what Hubley's web hosting and search engine optimization services do for them. This happens to be one of our core features and services, and everyone knows they need a website, and I don't think I've come across a school that doesn't have something up online. But what I find is that most schools are not using their website strategically. And as I mentioned before, one thing that is really key about your website is that it should be designed for the purpose of not to sell your school. Your website is not where people are going to make a decision, and it's not where they're going to be educated about the Montessori method. The purpose is to get the right families to inquire about the school and to enter into your enrollment process. This is a very important distinction because you should not be trying to sell someone on the Montessori method on your website. That's for the rest of your enrollment process. That's what that's for. When they come to an open house or they do a tour, that's when you sell them on your school. And a part of that is selling them on the Montessori method, for sure. But the point at which they find your school online, whether it's from a Facebook ad or from searching on Google, at that point, it's everything that they see, the design, the language, anything that they can do on the site, any action they can take, should be 100% focused on getting them into your school for a tour or for a open house or an information session. And here is really the ultimate goal you should be trying to achieve with your enrollment marketing system. If you really want to improve and simplify your enrollment marketing workload, you're going to want to set up some automated workflows to handle the tasks that you repeat on a regular basis. So this, what we're looking at here, is an example of an automated enrollment workflow that we recently built for one of our customers inside their Hubly site. The reason why a digital marketing system is always better than print is that you can literally track how every step in the process is performing, and then you can improve upon it. So even if you're able to move from, a print ad campaign to a Facebook campaign, and let's say you saw an overall dip in your inquiries, at the beginning. Well, the good thing about the Facebook or the digital or the SEO is that you can track and you can test and you can optimize a digital marketing campaign. So, when we run a Facebook campaign, we test up to 50 ads at a time. And then we test variations of landing pages where the parents, go to fill out the inquiry form. So it's really easy to actually improve a Facebook campaign by 300% in a matter of a week. Whereas all you can do with print ads is hope for the best, really. Additionally, with Facebook ads, you can set up a daily spending limit and then pause it and start it whenever you want and make changes to test performance literally while the campaign is running. Whereas with print ads, there is a really hefty cost up front and you can't improve anything once it's gone to print. So it's just a lot of money up front and you're kind of just hoping for the best. So just to explain, this type of system, your marketing, your enrollment marketing system should be like a self-driving car. So I'm just going to walk through these steps here a little bit. I'm just going to get my annotation tool ready here. Bear with me a second. Here we go. So this is what we call a marketing funnel. And at the very top here of this funnel is this is where the traffic comes in, right? So you're running your Facebook ads and you're doing your Google search, right? And that sends people down into a website, a web page. This web page here is what we call a landing page. A landing page has very specific rules. How to design a landing page is a complete series of webinars in and of themselves. But basically, you should know you should never, ever, ever spend time, money, and resources to generate traffic and just send it to your homepage. That is not a proper way to set up a marketing campaign. For every single campaign you run, there should be a dedicated landing page that is directly relevant to the ads or the keywords that you're trying to optimize for. So essentially, they come into this page and that's where they fill an inquiry form. So this landing page is a web page and there's only one thing for them to do on that page, and that's inquire about the school. They can't click around, they can't go check out other things. It's either that or nothing. And that might sound scary, but that's what works best. Now, for this particular school, what made sense was so once that inquiry form comes in, then the school's notified, and then there's a record made, and then the next thing that happens, and this is all automatic by the system, the next thing that happens here is there's a series of emails that are pre-written, and they run automatically over a set amount of days or weeks that are all kind of talking about the school, but each one has a goal, and they're all there to drive that parent to an online tour booking schedule that so that the tour booking even happens automatically. So all this stuff is happening by the system. The school, you don't have to do anything. All the busy work of following up and reminding and trying to get them to a tour, let the system handle that for you. And then in this scenario, they come in for a tour. There could be a task created for the the admissions director or the head of school, whoever is managing, the enrollment process, they, let's just say, as an example, the parent comes in for a tour, and um, it's been, a week, and they haven't yet filled out the application form. And these forms are digital forms, right? So again, everything's tracked, right? So that parent is being tracked all the way through the entire enrollment. I'm not sure if anybody is there. We just got kicked off. Lost connection. Don't know why. So I'm really sorry about that. If anyone's there, if you can join back in.